Hi, I'm Bob.
And I'm Sarah.
We're bringing you this tape, and it's called Trick Lines and Illusionary Movements. Illusionary movements are the type of movements that they look like you should do one thing, but actually you need to be doing another. Trick lines are the kind of tricks that you'll see that people, the way they interpret music with a particular movement. Before we get into the actual lines and illusionary movements, though, I want to introduce you to some stretching and some body isolations that will help you to improve your flexibility, improve your strength, and allow you not to hurt yourself when you actually start doing some of these movements. So the tape will consist of first that stretching and body isolations, then we'll go through dividing up things by balance, lines, and spinning, and then we'll actually show you some actual movements that you can put into your dancing. So we'll be right back with that first segment. Okay, to get started, the first thing you have to think of is that your muscles are fairly tight. They're kind of like taffy. When you get taffy warm, it gets gooey and you can pull it apart. When taffy is cold, not warmed up, it's hard to move. It just kind of sits there. Your muscles are the same way. So the first thing you have to think about doing, the first thing you need to think about doing before you start stretching your muscles is getting them warmed up. And there's a couple different ways you can do that. I mean, we can run around the block, we can do a lot of either Stairmaster or whatever, but you want to start getting them warmed up some way, all right? Some of the things that I think about doing are things from ballet, because it not only allows me to warm my muscles up, but it allows me to start getting my body balanced for things that we'll use later on in this tape. So the first thing is just pliés. Before we do that, let me just go over some foot positions. If your feet are together, we're going to call that first position. If your feet are a little bit apart, second position. Third position is just putting the instep and the heel together of one foot or the other foot. Okay. A fourth position is having your feet forward or back, and you can have your feet parallel or turned out, and you can even have them turned in. We probably will never use the turned in position. You'll use the turned out position, and you can have a lot of turn out or just a little turn out. You can even have the feet parallel. The last position we're going to use is the fifth position. So the fifth position of the feet are the heel and the toe are lined up. And if you have really, really great turnout, you can get the heel and toe of both feet to line up. And I don't have that good a turnout. Anyway, in each one of those positions, we're going to do a couple of pliés. So from first position is the one I use the most. What you want to think about when you're doing a pliés is bending the knees, straightening them back together. You can think of letting the arms out, and then back in, out, and back in. Let's do about 4 of those. So there's 3, 4. You can do 4, 8, whatever you want to do. And we can take them out to a second position, and you take it down and back up. As you're doing these, you really want to think about keeping your backbone from your tailbone through your head in line. You want to think about keeping the knee over the ball of the foot, and then let it go back up. What you're trying to do here as you isolate this, so you're from the back side down, is you're really trying to work the muscles on the inside of your leg, pulling them together, pushing them back out, pulling them together. You're not really trying to work the quadricep muscles as much. All right? We can use that from a third position now. Same kind of thing. And when you do it from third position or from first position, you can really think of squeezing the legs together. You can use third position on either side. So a good way to warm up is just do about 4, 6, 8 of the little pliés on each side. Okay? Next thing we're going to do is going to start warming up the arms. So we'll just do some arm circles and think about taking, say, the hands forward and then back. And let's say we'll do about 20 of those or so. And I'm not going to do as many of everything as you normally might, because we don't have much time on this tape. So we can take them back now. The hands going that way. As you start to get the arms and the shoulders warmed up, you're really starting to feel it in here. You're getting some blood pumping through the arms into the shoulders. Okay? Now, what I'm going to have you do is alternate legs and upper body throughout. The next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to do some little points of the feet. We worked with the different foot positions. What you're going to do is start in a first, go through a fourth position, and then bring it back together. This will also get you familiar with what is front. If you think of a graph dividing your body up this way and then also this way, what I'm doing is I'm taking the foot from this and taking it forward. So, and then I'm bringing it back together. And what I'm also doing as I'm doing that is I'm trying to keep the foot straight in front of me. So in relation to my center of gravity, I'm keeping the foot there. Now, when I take it out to second position is in the direction of your turnout. That becomes very important when you start bringing your foot off the floor in movements that we'll do later on. If you try and take your foot directly to the side, you're not going to be able to hold balance as you do that. So if I were standing here, you can see if I held my hands perfectly to the side, my foot's not going perfectly to the side. It's going in the direction of the turnout of my legs, because that's where I'm going to be able to hold balance at. Well, anyway, what we're going to do, 4 of those to the side. Then we're going to take 4 back. And when you take it back, what you want to try and do is just like when you took it forward, it's like this graph, this line that runs right through you, also runs to the toe of the foot that's behind you. And you bring it back into first, and you take it back. And into first, take it back. And if you start doing that, and you want to do it with the other foot, and you get used to where front is, where side is, do about 4 of those in each direction, and then where back is. Where all these things become important at is when you start trying to do lines like a ronde. If you take it through forward, side, back, and together, the other foot forward, side, back, and together. The other foot forward, side, back, and together. And you can also take it back, side, forward, and through first. Okay, that'll get you being able to feel if you want to finish a ronde, if you want to take it just forward, side, and together, forward, side, and together, and do little half rondes. Okay, now let's start talking about isolations of the head. Like I said, we're just going to bop back and forth here. With the head, what we're going to do is I want you to think of looking up, forward, down, forward. When you look up, try and feel that you're not compressing the vertebrae in the back of your neck. You're looking up, forward, down, forward. These kind of things are very, very important to doing your neck exercises, getting your neck warmed up, especially for the ladies, because you do a lot of things where you do neck rolls, where you're doing a spin, where you bring your head down and back up. It's good to warm it up slow. Down, forward, up, forward, down, forward, up, forward. Then we also want to take it right and left. And again, we can start off with just right, forward, left, forward. Doesn't really matter which way you start, but try and feel those points. And if you can start dividing up again, feeling it, you can snap your head to the right, forward, left, forward. You're isolating a particular action. And if you're hitting a beat of music and you're hitting it 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're snapping it each way. Next thing that we can do is we can look 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can also do that from side to side. Right, left, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Next thing we're going to do with our head is we're just going to roll it now. Little half rolls. If you take it to the side, not completely all the way, and then just let it roll down, so it comes through the down position, back up to the left side. Then let it come down and through down, up to the right side. Just doing little half rolls with the head. Now we're going to do full rolls. Again, we're going to start off the same way. You can take it to the left side, let it come down forward, roll back and up, all the way through front, then take it the other way. And then the other way. All right, so this starts to get your neck warmed up with the rolls, and it starts to do it in a nice, slow way. You can build on that. You can do that a little bit more, okay? Now let's go back to the legs again. Now what we're going to do is just some little jumps, okay? You can start in the first position, and you can just do little jumps in the first position where you're just barely letting your heels come off the floor. What this starts to do is it really starts to get some blood into the quadriceps, the hamstrings, down into the calves. It really starts to get your feet warmed up. And I don't want you to think of jumping as high as you can. They're just little bitty jumps. You can take it through second position, back into first position, out into second. You can also take it third, second, third, third. Kind of like jumping jacks. People used to do jumping jacks. If you want to work your arms, you can do that. You can just let your hands hang, and all you're trying to do is barely let that go. This really gets some blood into the legs, starts getting them pumped up. It's going to be much easier to stretch. Let's say you did about 50 of those, just little ones there. This is also good for your jumping ability because this gets your muscles built up for that. Okay, now with that in mind, let's go back up now. Let's talk about the shoulders. We're going to do through a series of shoulder exercises. Just think of taking the right shoulder back. Let it come forward and back, forward and back. I'm bringing it forward while it's down, taking it up towards my ear, then back and down. So just a little roll. Do the same thing with the left shoulder. Forward, up, back, through. Forward, up, back, through. So we're just getting a nice shoulder exercise. The arm is just very relaxed, and I think of just letting it touch my hip as it goes around, so that it's not really coming off and getting really stiff. Try and feel that your arms are very relaxed. So if you take the right one and the left one, right, left, right, left. Now let's go the other direction. This time we're going to take the shoulder forward, up, back, back, up, forward. So it's forward, back and through, back, forward and through. Same thing with the left. Forward, back and through, back, forward and through. 1, 2. If we start thinking about both shoulders, we can do the right, left, back, back, forward, forward, back, back, forward, forward, back, back, forward, forward, back, back, forward. You can start alternating. You can go back, forward, and then you can go forward, back. Any which way you want. This gets the shoulders warmed up, gets all the muscles there. Next thing we're going to do is just some second position, a little bit deeper plies, and we're going to take the arms with it. Start getting the arms into this. Once the arms are out to the side, all we're going to do now from there is let them come through, up, open up, back to the side. So we're going down and up, down and up, down, and you want to think of really breathing throughout. Do as many of those as you'd like. Then think about taking it the other direction with the hands. Really feel the stretch through here. The shoulders are staying pulled down. They're not creeping up on you. They're staying pulled down. The arm is nice and long. The hands come through. So from the back side, if I was going reverse, if I was going the other way, I'd be bringing them in, up, and out. In, up, and out. And a good thing to do is just stand in front of a mirror, watch yourself as you do these things to see what's happening with the arms, what positions they're going through. We'll be talking a little bit about arms more later. Next thing, let's do rib cage type action. First thing I want you to do is just to push your rib cage out. Then let it come normal, then contract. Let it come normal. To push it out, think of not pushing your hips, not pushing your shoulders. Just think of trying to take your diaphragm and let it come forward. This will arch your back. Don't do it with too much power because you don't want to compress the vertebrae. Let it come normal and then contract. When you contract, you'll feel sometimes your shoulders, if you do a big contraction, you can let your shoulders come all the way through, your hips come under. If you just contract a little bit, you're just doing it through the rib cage. So you have forward, normal, back, normal. And you can take it forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. So I'm just taking it front, normal, front, normal, back, normal. Or front, back, front, back, front, back. Next thing we're going to do is side to side. We can take our rib cage without moving our hip and relatively not moving our shoulders, push our rib cage out to the right, normal, left, normal, right, normal, left, normal, right, normal, left, normal. We can push it back and forth, right, left, right, left, right, left. Really feel all the muscles stretching across right above your hip bones as you're pushing it back and forth. Now what you want to do is think of doing circles. Take it forward, left, back, right. Forward, left, back, right. Forward, right, back, left, forward, right, back, left. Then you can just think of circling it each direction. The main thing you want to do here is just develop the isolation through here so that when you start thinking of doing ripples and things and rolls through your body, the isolations will help you control things in such a certain order that allow you to do that. Okay, next thing we're going to start doing is for the legs is we're going to do some deep plies here. From a first position, we're going to go through demi-plie on into grand plie and then back up through demi and then standing up normal. So we're just going down and up, down and up. Good. And what you'll find with this type of exercise is it allows you then to develop your leg strength and your flexibility for the man to do things like whip tunnels and so on, where he has to go under. Ladies, it helps you the same way. If you want, you can do it with a turned in position. You can go down and up through demi-plie, grand plie. From the side, you'll see that when I do a demi-plie, I go down to the point where my heels are not coming off the floor. If I go lower, then my heels can come off the floor. I'm now on the balls of the feet, go up to a demi-plie, and straight back up. And you really want to feel the difference between those because it'll help you stretch your Achilles tendons back here. All right? So after doing a couple of those in first position, then you can do a couple of them in third position, either way. And the main thing to think of when you're doing this is really think of keeping the back fairly straight, so as you go down, you can hold balance over the balls of the feet. Doing them slowly is the best way to do them, to get the legs warmed up and to going and stretching well. Okay, next thing we're getting into on the upper body are the hips. Doing little hip circles. First way you can do a hip circle is take the hip up and down. You have to use your right knee just a little bit if you're working the right hip. Then we can take the left hip up and down. Feel how the stomach's working as you do that. You're definitely working the leg. If you watch it from the side, I'm bringing the hip towards you, and then I roll up through the foot to let it come back down. I'm bending through the knee just a little bit, so my left hip is definitely dropping and raising. I'm squeezing through my stomach, the oblique stomach muscles right here, to allow the hip, the pelvic bone, to come towards the rib cage, making that a lot smaller, and then bigger, smaller, to help create the illusion of that roll. So I'm bringing it from the other side. Now that's the hip just kind of going up and down. We can also bring the hip around. To do that again, I'm also going to be using a contraction where I'm contracting through the stomach, allowing the pelvic bone to come up, so that as I roll my right hip around my right leg, I'm taking it forward, then that side, back. If I'm taking it around the left leg, so this is what creates that figure eight. Here I'm just taking it around the left leg. Here I'm taking it around the right leg. If I want to create a figure eight, I'm going to go around, take my hip bone around my right leg, and then take my left hip bone around my left leg. So I can get that figure eight happening on either side. Again, there's a lot of stomach happening, a lot of back. So the pelvis is moving, tilting up and tilting down slightly. As I move it around, it's moving up to the side. You don't have to do a lot with your knees in this case, but you do a little bit with them to help create that. Again, watch in the mirror. This helps really warm up the stomach and the back muscles more, and the leg muscles a lot more. Okay? Speaking again of the leg muscles, there's also other things you can do, and this is just doing a little stretch with the Achilles tendon there. You can hold on to a wall or whatever at that point. And you can do the right leg and the left. Okay, these are a lot of the standing up exercises that you can think of doing. The last one we're going to do is just work on legs again. And we're going to work a little bit of a, it's called a dégagé, to disengage the leg from the floor. We did tendus before, which is to point. Now we're going to take the foot slightly off. And this will really help you to feel, as I'm sliding the foot along the floor, I'm keeping my right leg very straight, taking it front. Now I'm going to take my right leg out to the side. Same thing. And I want you to take it very high off the floor. Later on we'll do that after we stretch. And then I also want you to think of taking it to the back. You can hold your hands out for balance. Work the left leg. Really what you want to feel here is as you shoot the leg out in front of you, you're pulling back with the hip as you shoot the foot forward. This will help you hold your balance on the spot. You're working with the muscles on the inside of the leg here to again hold balance in that position. Taking it out to the side. You're trying to shoot the foot off the floor. Taking it to the back. And you really have to think of almost taking your leg back over to the other side there, over here, way over here, when I think of putting it back, or else it ends up kind of out that way. And I want it right behind me as best as I can. Okay? We'll be right back with some stretching actions on the floor.